Welcome guys, this is Spets, and today I'm going to be analyzing another game between Unicorns of Love and Gambit Gaming. This is game 4 of their playoff series in the EU LCS, and the reason I want to analyze this particularly is because of some interesting champion picks, interesting use of the strengths and weaknesses of the enemy, and just things that I think a lot of teams have forgotten. I'll go over it while we go through the game, and I'll analyze it as we go. So first things first, pick some bans. A ban by Unicorns of Love, Diana. I'm guessing this is targeted against Betsy because he's fairly well known for his assassin play. He's done fairly well with, I think it's Zed and Ari, and he's just comfortable on those champions, so that's a takeaway. Next ban is Kog'Maw. This is more a ban against Power of Evil because he played it twice in this series already, if I'm not mistaken, as AP Cog. Weak in the early game, but after a while he ramped up and he did quite a lot of damage and it was hard to deal with. And again, it could block an AD carry Kog'Maw as well too, so something that's very strong nowadays. Let's move it forward. Gragas, he's become more popular as a tank jungler with Cinder Hulk. Provides quite good crowd control with his ult, great displacement, his E is a knock-up, and obviously his Q. Even got buffed a little while ago, but it's even stronger in terms of CC than it was before. Overall, a pretty good jungler now. Morgana, that could block either 3 players. I don't know about scrim results and what they've been playing, but Morgana can be played in all 3 lanes, top lane, mid lane, and support. So she's very versatile, very hard to deal with in a AD carry centric composition where it's just you can't lock down the AD carry. And Sejuani because she's so powerful now with the Cinder Hulk. Udyr because Kikis played it I think 2 times already, and again does quite well with Cinder Hulk. Very hard to get through. Not great. He can get kited, but he's really annoying because he can just peel constantly with his bear stance. Just a good front line, but again, he gets kited, but Kikis used him quite well in the series, in my opinion. It's the first pick by UOL. You'll see over the course of if you have already watched the series, you already know that Unicorns of Love isn't afraid to bring out these new picks, and I think that's one of their strengths. They're not afraid to just experiment and see what's strong, what they can be good with. It's not they don't just do it just for no reason, like just we can play all these champions. They do it because they want to use a specific strategy that uses the strengths of those champions. So you'll see this game as well. It's very much present. So Maokai first pick, very strong, very worthy of first pick. I've seen a lot of teams just pick like some random, like Vladimir. I remember CLG picked Vladimir first pick oftentimes. Vladimir is good in certain scenarios, but he's very easily counterpicked. Very weak in the top lane. I don't know why people are playing Vladimir in the top lane, but something like Maokai, just overall great AoE ultimate for damage reduction. Good initiate with his W. Flash W is really good. I mean, overall, he's just well-rounded. That's a good first pick by UOL. Right here, I'm guessing this is going to be a jungle Nidalee with Jinx. So this is kind of risky as a first pick, but if they have something in mind, maybe like a Janna, maybe a Jinx Janna might have been a little bit better. Just another champion that could help. Like you see right here, I think this might be, I don't know if they're going to lock it in, but Power of Evil is hovering over Thresh. Thresh with Jinx is really good because just like with Kog'Maw, you can help reposition your AD carry in bad situations. So I don't know about the Nidalee pick. I guess it is a very strong jungler now still, and Diamond is very good at it, so it's not a bad pick at all. Okay, so Sivir and Thresh. Very good engage, disengage with Sivir. Same thing with Thresh. So overall, well-rounded team here. Right now, Gambit Gaming's lacking any kind of crowd control. I mean, they have like the slow and like the traps from Jinx, but that isn't very reliable. So they need to get something to engage. Maybe an Annie. Annie wouldn't be bad. Flash Tibbers is always good. Nautilus would be good. I mean, you guys have probably seen pro games, but Nautilus support has been very popular. I know some people have been playing Nautilus top lane as well. Insane amounts of crowd control with him. So okay, so two. Okay, so he locks it. So right now they have decent engage. Nautilus isn't as good as, let's say, maybe like a Sejuani would be with an ultimate. It's much more reliable engage. Like you have Nautilus ultimate and his hook, but as a support, he doesn't always want to be the one initiating. You can, but as a melee champion, it's a little more risky than as like a jungler does it. It's still a good pick. They have decent crowd control and decent dive with Hecarim, but they're really Hecarim is really weak in the early game, and Jinx is really weak in the early game. So that's something to look at in this series, or in this game at least. And this is where things get interesting. Unicorns of Love picks Shaco. I'm gonna pause it real quick. Just look at the champions here. So Hecarim, something that I feel like a lot of teams don't take advantage of. Hecarim is extremely weak early game, especially with his summoners that most people pick. Ignite, Teleport. He is so strong in the late game that you have to abuse him in the early game. A lot of teams don't do that, and they pay the price. So right here, Shaco, it might seem like a very cheesy pick, very risky, but in the context of the champions that the enemy team has, except for Nidalee, all these champions are weak early game. So that's actually quite good. Along with a strong mid laner, they can take control of the game. But it is risky with Shaco if they fall behind. So that's something to keep in mind. Something to also keep in mind while you watch this game is that Syndra will be an interesting pick. It's not the greatest for what they're about to do, but they already have so much disengage and engage with the other champions that it's not the worst. She's good for disengage as well with her stun if he can land it, and of course engage with that. So, but overall, I think he picked it because he wanted a strong laner and he wanted to control the mid lane. That's one of the strengths of Syndra. She can push up, and I don't agree with this. Again, like you see, I understand what Gambit is doing. They're full on late game, Hecarim late game, double AD carry late game. That is extremely risky. The only early game champion is Nidalee, and this is they kind of picked it into a Shaco, which is extremely strong early game. So long as he doesn't get counter ganked, 1v2 or no 2v1, it's extremely powerful. He can get a kill almost any time, so long as they're not at tower, and he even gets exhaust. So this will be important in the late game as well. Instead of ignite, he gets exhaust. So let's skip ahead a little. Just casters talking. Just things to note: very weak early game by Gambit. Shaco early game is very strong, but it's still extremely risky. If Shaco falls behind, this comp completely falls apart. So it depends on Kikis's success. There's quite a lot of talking. Okay. So right away, Gambit pings the bottom side. Wonder what they're gonna do. So it looks like Gambit might be trying to pop boxes. Maybe they think that Shaco's gonna be a blue. Kikis has a box there and a ward, just to be sure he knows of their presence there. And he starts setting up at bottom side. So nothing too risky or anything. Okay. Gambit gets some early wards to check for a lane swap. They want to know where Sivir and Nautilus, or not Nautilus, and Thresh are gonna be. Thresh gets his own ward, not as complete of a scouting ward, because if you see, I mean, Gambit got 4 wards in their topside jungle, so. But they are lacking in vision everywhere else. They still see it, so regardless, that ward did its job. I feel like that lane can go either way. It's not like a dominant one way or the other. So one of the strengths of Shaco, again, or if you guys don't know, like, I know Shaco isn't very popular nowadays, but one of the strengths of him is that obviously he has his invis flash, deceive, early game damage, but also because of his boxes, he has very good level 1-2 clear. And Italy, of course, is going to be slightly behind the Shaco after this camp. He did get denied his blue. He might have maybe wanted to start that, or maybe he didn't. He just wanted to scout it to make sure. It looks like Vizicachi took rates. Let me go back real quick. Yeah, he did. Okay, just wanted to make sure. Goes top lane. Hecarim did the same. So very common thing nowadays. Just get that early advantage. Gives you a lot more potions. Allows you to go Dorns no matter basically who you start as. So nothing too much. Let's see, when does Diamond go back? Usually you want to get some early wards against Shaco. In key spots, it's kind of hard to work around Shaco because of his deceive, and he can jump over walls with it. But some early, like, deep wards are usually very good against Shaco. If Nidalee was a tank jungler, this team would be in a lot of trouble. They would be too much late game. But thanks to Nidalee, like, you can see that she was actually slightly ahead of Shaco in jungling, just because of how fast she clears and how much damage she does to camps. So if Diamond was feeling confident enough, he could actually duel Shaco right now. He might be trying something. No, he's just gonna get... Okay, so he just gets the scuttle control. Nothing too much is going on. So yeah, get some early wards for topside. So they get... All on topside is safe. Bottom side really has no wards. So yeah. So Diamond, what he's doing right here is smart. He tries to cover his top laner because Hecarim doesn't have flash or any escapes. He has his E, but once that's down, there's no going anywhere. So that's where we're going to have to look. Ezreal has a more reliable escape in his E, so long as he doesn't use it aggressively, while Hecarim doesn't. So that's why Diamond is camping the top lane. But right now, Kikis doesn't care. He's just farming. Which is at first I was like, this is kind of risky, but he's kind of using the same philosophy as like Meteos. Maybe he wants to get it to a certain level before he ganks. Maybe he knows that Diamond is gonna be waiting. Because in a 2v2, Shaco's quite weak. And so he goes straight Mobies with the mobility. And gets wards. Very safe kind of build. I was thinking maybe he would have gone Stalkers for the slow end damage. So right now he's going to just keep farming. This is very actually interesting when I was watching this first time. So not too much action. There was a little action bot lane. A heal and an exhaust was blown. Hillsong plays really well this game. He did have to flash there, but he lands so many death sentences that without him, this game probably would have gone much differently. So right here, okay. So do they see? Yeah, they saw Diamond bot lane. He knows it's safe to go top lane now. This is extremely important. He knows that he's not going to get counter ganked. He goes in. And the strength of deceive. And Shaco's damage, exhaust. He can't do anything. I would have maybe, as a Cobble Shard, just gone Flash or Ghost. Probably Ghost. I don't know if it would have helped against an exhaust, but just go something a little safer. You know that if Shaco gets ahead, things are going to be more problematic. If he doesn't get ahead, he's actually quite bad. So why not just go that summoner? You don't have to go what everyone else is going. So I think that was a mistake by him, and he's going to be abused quite a lot this game. That was a very good gank by Kikis. Let's move on. Huh? How they? Okay, so Kikis starts Dragon. He's not 6 yet, which is interesting, but bottom side looks like it has control, and Ezreal went back. So I'm sure Probable did communicate that. So this is what Kikis should be doing. You just take advantage of your early game strength and the strength of your laners. Bot side wasn't really winning that hard. I mean, they're ahead a few CS, but I think it's mainly because Ezreal went back. I mean, they're doing it right on top of a vision of Gambit Gaming, so it's thanks to probably the strength of mid lane. That's the main thing. Syndra's too powerful in mid game, especially compared to Ezreal, who needs time to stack up his tier. Diamond's trying to get something back, but I mean, a few camps aren't as useful as Dragon, especially first Dragon is extremely powerful because of the percentage damage. Let's see. So yeah, Caster was just talking about you need deep wards. I think Diamond did a good job early game of just getting that vision. He got his own ward topside near. I don't think it was the greatest of wards. Maybe he could have placed it somewhere else. But honestly, he just lane ganked. It didn't matter. He knew that Diamond was bot lane. It didn't matter that I was just looking at the Meteos tweet, but it doesn't matter if he warded deeply. He lane ganked, so it's the strength of Shaco. Invisibility plus flash, very powerful. So despite being behind in CS, Diamond has been hard farming. He's gotten top lane slightly ahead, and he's just playing smart. He's just, I don't know. Let me see if does he see Diamond anywhere? So yeah, he sees Diamond. So yeah, he sees him with a ward near the curved bush near his blue. Goes for his own blue, or for the other blue. He's just playing very smart with his champion. I think that's something that people haven't looked at. He just plays smart with his picks. Like he was the one who started. You use that Twisted Fate and IEM. Like he knows how to use the champion. And 5-man dive. Where is Nautilus? Oh, he had to back. Okay. So yeah, they don't have any vision. So they have vision for maybe protecting top side, but they don't have any vision at all for bottom side. So that was just an easy dive. Diamond's really getting outplayed right now. They do trade a tower, but Jinx might slowly start to fall behind. He went the pickaxe first too, so he's gonna be delayed before he gets any more damage. Let's see. Whoop, we gotta go back. What happened there? So are they trying to? It looks like they're trying to push in mid. Spear by Diamond. He has to back up. But a quick wave clear. So again, great death sentences by Hillsong. You see over and over he saves UOL in a bad situation or just creates picks. Betsy, yeah. They're just playing their champions well and playing the strengths of their champions well. Like, it makes no sense to, let's say, pick a Syndra and not try to lane bully your opponent. I think there's another analysis video that I will have out as well around the time that I had this one out. And it's OMG versus Energy Pacemakers. And cool picks Vladimir. I don't know if he first picks it into a Karma, but the Karma doesn't use the strength that she has as a lane bully early on against a very weak early game champion that is Vladimir. But you see here, they are using it, and that is the important thing to note here. That you don't absolutely need late game champions all the time if you make use of the strength of your champions and use it in a certain strategy. You'll see as it plays out in this game. Let me see what happened there. So after getting bottom tower, dual lane UOL switches lanes and is going to try to push down top side. Yeah, they don't need to be bottom side either because Dragon isn't up for another minute. They should start heading down there and get some vision around Dragon though. Unless they value this tower more. Okay, yeah. What was the other people on the team doing? Okay, so yeah, Power of Evil was pressuring mid, and it looks like Pinoy was backing, so that they have no way of holding this 3v2. They don't have any wave clear. Yeah, they're lacking in a lot of wave clear just on their whole team. So that might be a big problem down the road. And they don't have the greatest of engage. They have a Nautilus ultimate. Like, that's all they have. I mean, you could say if Hecarim flanks, but again, it's not the greatest of engages. Oh, let's go back. I don't want to miss that. Looks like Hillsong goes in for some vision. Whoa. I want to see what happens there. Do they have vision? They had vision of Thresh while he was coming in. He doesn't even have Mobies, so you should be able to get away from him. Edward gets a good ultimate though. So that was actually not bad by Gambit Gaming. They got baited into a choke and got completely destroyed by Ezreal and what is the name? Jinx ultimate. So that was actually very risky. They did get out, but if Hecarim was there, wait a minute. He had ultimate. He had teleport. Why didn't if Hecarim ulted right? If Hecarim TP'd in right there, that would have been so bad for UOL. That was such a missed opportunity. Just look at their health evaporate. That's odd. Why didn't he go in there? I'm guessing he wanted to have home guard available, but he should have teleported there. Okay. He goes in, gets Power of Evil. Does he get a kill on him? He does, okay. So he makes up for it with that. I think it would have been a much more decisive win there. He could have maybe gotten 2 kills right there. Kikis tries to go in for a steal. Isn't able to do it. That could have been much better for Gambit. That could have turned the game around and really made the game much harder for UOL. Because again, Shaco gets behind, things get very bad. He's actually behind in gold compared to I would say compared to Diamond, but it doesn't matter so long as he plays it right. He has exhaust and he has skirmishers. So if he 1v1s and if he stays in a split push mentality for much of the game, he will beat almost anyone in a 1v1. If it's like a 2v1, then he's in trouble, but because of that, his gold disadvantage isn't as important. So he's going Tiamat into Ravenous Hydra, which is good. So he's gonna go into split push mode. That was very close though. If maybe Hecarim TP'd earlier, even if he didn't have home guard, it didn't really matter. You just go in there, use your ultimate, and you could have turned that fight around. Ezreal and Jinx were coming in for the consistent damage. And all the while, Diamond could have been picking people off with the spears. So now the dragon, they're even on dragons. UOL is slightly ahead in gold, but not enough to make up for their late game. The late game on a Gambit. Again, though, they have a very weak engage team, especially when their team isn't even using the engage properly. Hecarim could have really turned the game around right there. Edward did a good job of surviving there and using his ultimate in a good spot, but okay, so yeah, Kikis is just going to be split pushing. It's probably trying to get vision. And you'll see he does quite a decent amount of damage. That was just an auto and E. I don't think he even used Tiamat there. Baits out an ultimate and deceives out. And okay, so that was good. Yeah, that's what they should do. They should 2v1 Shaco or Kikis. So that was very close. So Kikis just needs to focus on farming and trying to push the bot lane. He can 1v1 Jinx, but he can't 2v or 1v2. He's nowhere near fed enough. So they're on a timer, sort of not. It just depends on who engages who. And as time rolls on, and once Betsy gets more mana, things might get a little bit tougher. Let's move on. Things are kind of calm, but they'll start to get more active as things move on. Wait, okay. Dragon's up in 1 minute and 14 seconds. Let us see. So right now, Unicorns of Love, they're using Kikis on top side, which is good. At the same time, Visitachi is staying with the team. He does have TP up, so both top laners have TP up. And this is the strength of skirmishers plus the power of Shaco. The problem is he can't actually hit the tower. He's not that far ahead yet. Whoa. Okay, let's see what happened there. Okay, so right here. Cabochard knew that Shaco was top lane, went back, and has his home guards ready. He's waiting for his team to engage. They see Unicorns of Love on blue buff. They're just waiting for a proper moment Flash, hook, Hillsong. I don't agree with the ultimate on Hillsong. I would have done it on Vardogs. Even if he spell shields it, you're gonna hit Hillsong anyway. But he just disengages right there. One moment. So Kikis is in there. It's a 4v5. Hillsong disengages well. Flat. I think if... Okay, yeah. Pinoy couldn't be in range just yet. But if he ulted a little earlier, that might have been different. This is Chachi doing his job, tanking as much as he can. Flashes out. So they do a good job of just kiting back, kiting back. That's what they need to do. They just need to survive, give Kikis time to get that tower. That's all they care about. Chachi knows he's dead. He just goes in. There's no way around that. He already used his flash. They just need to take up as much time as they can without dying. Kikis gets top tower. That's honestly worth it. Unless Gambit gets this dragon. Okay, so Gambit gets this dragon. It's actually in favor of... It depends. Kikis is stronger and Kabashar doesn't get as much out of that. But Gambit... Okay, this is where things go bad. Let me see. So a lot of people go back. Do they see that? I don't know if Unicorns of Love see that. Okay, so this is where their lack of weight clear really comes in. They only have Ezreal ultimate and Jinx rockets, I guess. And they're just out of position. A few of them had to go back. I don't know about Ezreal was low on mana. Diamond was low on mana. So yeah, it was just a matter of positioning. They just traded Dragon for mid tower. Good job by UOL. So they win out overall. 2 towers in exchange for a Dragon and a kill on his Chachi. That's definitely worth it. Especially since it's not... I think in my opinion, the most important dragon is first one. The second one is not so important. Third one is fairly important, especially against this team comp where they're trying to kite. Movement speed might help. And the fifth one, obviously. But they don't have to worry about the dragons too much. It doesn't give the global gold anymore. It just gives the little extra stats. So it's not a big deal. So right now, Hecarim is quite far behind compared to where he wants to be. He's not doing bad. Actually, I take that back. He's doing alright, but he's in no position to like 1v1 Shaco right now. So that's still in favor of UOL. The Skirmishers and Exhaust is very good by Kikis. He might not have the extra damage from Ignite, but it doesn't matter. He can 1v1 anyone in the game right now. So right now that he got top tower, he's going to go for bottom, since it's much easier than the inhibitor tower at this point. At the same time, Gambit puts most of their wards bottom side. They put a few wards in like river and... No, on top side, sorry. They put most of their wards in top side. So they're just having trouble really doing anything. I mean, they got that one good engage, but they're still actually behind. They have no answer to Kikis. They need to keep someone there. But if they do, they're just going to lose a 4v4, I guess. I think the best bet is if they can win a 4v4, they should do it. Because if, okay, let's say Hecarim stays at tower. Shaco can't take the tower if Hecarim is there. But if he doesn't TP to help his team, then his team's going to lose the fight most likely. Just because of the power of the champions on UOL. They're just stronger at this point in the game. 80 care. They don't have enough. Well, they do have CC, but they don't have enough to protect Ezreal and Jinx. They'll just kill Nautilus as a support. Support Nautilus, he won't survive long enough. They'll just kill the front line and move forward. So they need Hecarim. But if Hecarim teleports, then Kikis gets a tower. So that's a problem that they're facing right now. So it's just a lack of wave clear. I think if Betsy picked someone else in this game, UOL might have had a harder time doing what they're doing right now. So they can always pressure lane as 4 or 3 with Maokai. No, I think Maokai has to be with them, because if UOL gets caught out, it'll be a problem. So they're really trying to stop Kikis, which is in favor of UOL again. See, Vizichachi and Power Evil are pressuring other lanes while they're doing that. They should be careful though, because Hillsong wasn't there just yet. Oof. Okay. Did he have smite up? Oh, Diamond really didn't get that? Oh, he wasn't in range to smite. Okay. That was just unlucky. So right now the TP advantage is to UOL, but Kabashard is going to get his TP soon. Kabashard thinks he's actually stronger, or strong enough to actually fight him. He's not. He didn't even use smite there, Kikis, just yet. So until he gets a frozen heart, he's in no position to 1v1 him. So he just needs to stay at tower. And I think just wave player, try to allow his team to 4v4, but it's really hard. They Edward is their only engage, and Power of Evil is going to disengage. Hillsong is going to disengage. They're just all going to disengage and kite really well. Whoa, how did that happen? Okay, so it looks like they have vision in topside, or vision control in topside. Diamond is completely out of position. He had no vision in topside, it looks like. Kabashard TP's in. Very quick reaction by him. Kikis is pushing bot lane. All that UOL wants to do is survive long enough, and if they can, get kills, but do not overextend is the important thing. So doing a good job of focus firing. Vardogs does die though. So they need to just survive as long as possible. Hillsong gets a hook. Kikis has got the bottom tower. That's all that matters. Despite losing someone, they still went out in both. Yeah. So it's like a pick comp with a split push comp. It's really odd but very interesting how they played out. So they just get a hook, get a stun with Syndra, instant kill someone. They're out of the fight. Edward is really out of position. I think he was trying to stop backs, or maybe get vision. So Vardogs did die there. He was kind of on the top side, away from his team. A little out of position. Let me see something. Okay, so they use Righteous Glory. It looks like Righteous Glory. Great stun by Power of Evil. If he didn't get that stun, that might have been something different. They just chain CC. Vardogs is on top side. I would get near the red side, around here, but he does get pulled, so he's worried about getting bursted down by Betsy right here. He gets exhausted. He has to flash out. Yeah, so he had no choice there. I would say, yeah, it was too late. Yeah, did they use 2 flashes for that? Okay, they use. Oh, yeah, they used 2 flashes there just to kill Vardogs. I understand he does damage, but yeah, I guess they just wanted to get an exit kill while they could do something. So overall, well done by UOL. There was a little mistake by Vardogs. Maybe he should have been with his team on the left side. Kix is getting ready for Dragon. He just has complete control of his side of the map. This is what you want to do as a Shaco. You want to be away from your team and just trying to get as much advantage for them while not being there. He's not a good team fighter, like many assassins. Power of Evil getting really good Overall, really good CC control. They just lock down Kabashar for the longest time. He could not do anything. He just dies. And that's one of the main advantages. Along with the lack of wave clear on Gambit, the lack of CC and like is there too. Edward is their only CC really. And a fear. That's all they have. They have some other like soft CC and like things that are extremely unreliable. Despite all these things happening, if Hecarim just gets items, he needs to get items. He's slowly falling farther and farther behind. He can maybe hold off. I don't even know though, because that was a 5v4, and they still lost. I think it's just the comp and like their ability to lock someone down is just too strong. Even with a 4v5, and just Kabashard isn't at the point where he can just like be a monster in the front. Yeah, and Kikis is just because he's split pushing, he is even getting ahead of Diamond. He was quite far behind him before this. But it doesn't matter because Diamond has to stay with his team. He's not a split pusher like Shaco. Trying to think of what Gambit could do at this point. They need to get a pick on someone really important. I think maybe keeping Betsy in the mid lane, try to at least hold off the push temporarily with his ultimate, while a few people get Shaco. Yeah, they just have a lack. Like only Edward can really lock him down, and it's not like the great. You're not gonna lock him down with skill shots that like are delayed with like the anchor and the ultimate, or they're not great against Shaco. He just deceives out, especially with Mobies. He's very hard to hold down. So right there, something to note, and something to actually just like look at when you're playing your own game. This is something that you shouldn't do. If let's say you have your split pusher, and you're at the inhibitor towers, you should not have your team in a lane adjacent to your split pusher, because that gives the other team the ability to clear one wave and then go to the one adjacent to it and help with that fight. So right now they're actually switching it up. Hecarim is going to have to travel a larger distance to help his team. But that doesn't really matter too much because Kikis can't get this tower. So they have to be able to 4v4. Yeah. Betsy has to do like a lot of work here. He's the only one who can do damage to their team at this point. He's quite strong, like there's no doubt about that. He has the most CS in the game, and he already has more mana, Triforce, and Last Whisper. So he can get through anyone. They're doing their best to just... So this is what they should be doing. They should be able to 4v4 if they do it correctly. They just need to survive, UOL that is. Try and disengage as best as possible. If that, oh man, if that all hit Fardogs. And this is why Hillsong, in my opinion, is the MVP of this game. It's great hooks. Edward can't do anything to help him there. Like you gotta try to like avoid that. Especially as someone as mobile as Nidalee. I think who would have been better? I think someone else besides Ezreal or someone else besides Hecarim. I think Hecarim, if he got ahead, yeah, I think Ezreal is the main problem in this comp. Like he does damage, but you don't have the lockdown. Like Jinx is enough damage by herself if she does well, which Pinoy didn't do this game. Like I mean, he's quite far behind, but give him enough time, and his late game will be powerful enough. You can just get like a magic damage mid laner with more control and CC. Chachi gets caught, but again. Thresh gets a great hook. Carries the game, to be honest. And the power of Shaco can basically 1v1 anyone. There's a lot of damage. The Triforce build he has, does he have a Triforce yet? But he's going Triforce. Just a lot of burst. He just jumps in, Deceive, backstab with the Smite damage, with Ravenous Hydra active. He just does so much damage. Also notice that even though Power of Evil is quite strong right now, he went like an odd build. But the thing is, like, he's using it because he wants to kite. The Rylai's is for the kiting. The Morello's is probably just like a standard, but overall it's just a great build by him for this situation. That's why I tried to stress in the beginning that you don't need a team that's like quote-unquote meta if you use your champions correctly the way UOL is doing, or adapt in a certain way that allows you to use a certain comp. Everything from the Rylai's to the Ravenous Hydra is meant at this strategy, meant to make the strategy successful, which is let Kikis split push, and we're just going to kite and survive and kill them if we can. Yeah, Pinoy didn't have a chance. It's just the champion. I don't think Pinoy did absolutely horribly this game or anything like that. He's 0-2-2, which is something you don't want to be in, like the position you want to be in. But he's just like, he's an immobile AD carry with not much disengage. He has Edward, but it's not good enough. Again, Kikis is just extremely powerful. He has a Triforce now, and Cabochard still doesn't have a Frozen Heart. He can't do anything. Whoa, what happened there? Oh, let me see. Okay, so while Kikis is split pushing bottom, Gambit is assuming that they're taking Baron, and they're just waiting. Gambit is just in a really bad spot now. Like, you either let them get Baron and then probably lose because you don't have enough wave clear and you have no way of like counter pushing, or you go in and try to stop it, but again, you run into the problem of just instantly dying because you have no vision already. One second. I think maybe Edward should have waited a little while. Maybe try to use Blue Trinket. I think they need double Blue Trinket at this point because they're so far behind and they can't get vision or they get picked off. They need to get double Blue Trinket. Yeah. I think overall there's a few things that are wrong with Gambit's comp. One, like I've already said it, the wave clear is lacking. Two, the crowd control for a double AD carry composition, you need to have a little bit more crowd control. Diamond probably should have picked something else. But again, if he picked something else like a tank jungler, they might have been too far behind at certain points of the game. Oof, that was really close. That's much. Wow, Kikis is actually not there. Kikis loses a lot of health. Oh, he misses. Okay, so Kikis just starts it right away. So that's why he gets low. This actually wasn't risky at all. But Kikis just wanted to start it as fast as possible. Hecarim does get in time. Does he have ult? He does. Probably Evil just tries to zone him. And then... yeah, at this point, Gambit can't do anything. They have a lack of wave clear, lack of crowd control to lock down and kill anyone who tries to 4-1. So they just need to get Dragon. They don't really care. That teleport wasn't meant to like get a kill specifically, just to zone him off. They can get a free Dragon here. There's nothing else Gambit can do at this point. They needed to get maybe Kaba Shard ahead, so Shaco couldn't split push. Shaco was actually not very strong at one point in the game. It's because he was allowed to split push, and like Gambit couldn't do anything to stop him. Vardox can turn around. Yeah. Yeah, so at this point, like, he has 3 items as an AD carry with Bloodthirst, so you're not going to kill him. So he tries, but it doesn't matter. Late heal by Pinoy as well. At this point, I think they're just on tilt, and they know that they can't do anything. They need to do something desperate. And yeah, Vardox knows that he's still there. Yeah, they're too far behind at this point, so this is just a matter of time. So yeah, Kabashard had to get ahead. Maybe Betsy had to have a different champion. They just too many things that had to happen didn't happen. They had a lack of wave clear. I think in this composition, maybe a Orianna would have been good mid lane, but I don't know if Betsy plays Orianna. And Kikis can basically almost one-shot I think instead of the Triforce build by Ezreal, a Frozen Fist build would have been much better. Not only would it protect against Shaco and Sivir, but it would also allow him to get the CC that he needed to kite and like catch people. At this point, it's just like cleanup. There's nothing that Gambit can do. They're too far behind. So yeah, yeah. In my opinion, Hillsong MVP 0011 got the greatest hooks. Chained with crowd control from Power of Evil and Vizicachi. It was good. Kikis did his job, and it's just like a good display of how you can do a very unconventional team comp, but do it correctly if you play it right and you play it to your win conditions, which is very important. Gambit had to get to the late game, and they had to just get to that point without getting so far behind. Kabashar was way too far behind, and just Unicorns of Love just took advantage of him. Like there's no way around that. And this was like, as you guys can see, this is the last game of the series. I would go look at the other games. I think Unicorns of Love, if they clean up some of their like tendencies that I would say are a little more solo queue-ish, they can actually be very powerful next split as a team. I mean, they could still win the split. Like I wouldn't put it past them. They still have a chance, but they're very innovative and they're very smart about how they use their champions in their team composition. So very well played game by Unicorns of Love, very innovative. I want to see more of this from them. I'm very excited to see how they play against, I think it might be SK. I have to check again, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get some things banned against them again in that game. Doubt we'll see the Shaco again. That was very specific to this team composition, but he has played it very well in not getting too antsy about, like, you would see some Shakos try to force advantages. Like Shaco is strong in a 2v1 scenario where he like goes after a laner, but if you saw top lane, Diamond did try to like counter it, but Kikis was just smart. He understood that he didn't need to do anything immediately. He just waited for Diamond to show himself and then took advantage of that, and Kabashar got farther and farther behind because of that. So I think certain things that Gambit could have done to come back, but it was just too hard at a certain point. The team composition from Unicorns of Love was very well constructed, in my opinion, and good game to them. Again, if you guys like these analysis videos, just let me know. Again, I find it fun, and I learn from this as I go along. just talk about the games and articulate them. So again, just let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.